Hi, you're again with Volleyball Explained Podcast and our edition about the Italian League. This time we are not going to talk only about the Italian League, but also for the Champions League and the quarterfinals that will be played at the end of this month. Still, there is a lot of, let's say, talk about that because if the Champions League actually is very near to an Italian league or an Italian cup, but why I'm saying this, you're going to understand a little bit later. Let's start with the 21st and the 22nd round, the last two rounds from the regular season in Italy. In the last podcast, we talked about the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and now we'll see what will happen and what will be the playoffs. Firstly, 21st round with some matches that were very interesting or expected to be very interesting with Verona Modena 1-3, the derby match LUBE Perugia 2-3, very strange match at least in my opinion. Milano Trento 3-0, a little bit even stranger. Ravenna Padova 3-1, Monza Piacenza 0-3, and Cisterna Vibo 3-2. What happened here, and my opinion in starting from the match between LUBE and Perugia is that, let's say, an awkward match, and I didn't see that concentration from LUBE they needed in order to win with 3 points and be first in the league in the regular season.
Well, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Lube Civitanova has proven once more that they only play when there is a title on the line. So when you have a team that comes from a victory like didn't happen in the like happened sorry in the Italian Cup, and you have to play Perugia 3 days after. Well, it's really simple. It's really simple that no, they will gonna play that hard as they play in the final cup or in the cup final. Sorry. One thing is for sure, Juan Torena is not Iron Man. You know, this is a man who has been playing at high level since he got in the Italian league. Uh, I mean, we are talking about almost 10 years old. So, I mean, I think Quantorena has played now in Italian league like 12 years right now. He reached in 2009, and it is what it is. The man has his last shots right now. I don't think I will see Juan Torena playing like in 2023. For me, it's pretty obvious that he is on his final season. So, yeah, Wilfredo Leon wanted to prove once more that he is the best, even he was in a final. So, yeah, pretty much Simon wasn't there either. We saw I don't know, Leal underperforming, and this is a very common thing since I don't know 3 matches. So yeah, Perugia won easily, won the regular season. They will have a easy path to the finals. Uh, Perugia and Civitanova now will have to face Trentino in the semifinal. If of course they reach the semifinal, so I will not have to. I will not be that guy who is saying that they will be in the semis, but it is pretty obvious that versus other teams, I think Lube will be in the semi. So yeah, pretty much. I don't know what has Nicola to say about this? Sorry.
It's also about Trento.
Yeah, well, first of all, about this match, because was interesting.
Yeah, I think you got the key point. In the two rounds we're gonna comment, there one factor that is way more important than the other: concentration and what team has to fight, has something to fight for. But when you're talking about strange results, yeah, if someone look at the result and could think that something bad happened or something like that, but the four teams that started playing after the Italian Cup, LUBE, Perugia, Modena, Trento, you could see that they were pretty, I'm going to say, they weren't at the top because they put everything. Trento not, of course, what they have in the semi-final. But for example, Milano-Trento was a totally useless game for Trento. I don't know why Lorenzetti didn't rest their starting players. You could see since the first 10 points that the player weren't focused. They were still mentally down from the Coppa Italia, in my opinion, from the defeat. They want the starting players to react, probably. Lorenzetti wanted that, but they didn't even bother playing. And you realize it when you see some of those balls that you don't know if they're in or out. If the points matter, usually you dive for it, even if the ball could out. The players instead was just watching the ball and hoping the ball was out. I mean, Milano didn't do anything special. They ended up with 43% in attacks. Both Ishikawa and Rodnaut were underperforming. It was not a good game to watch. The only of the two teams with some motivation was Milano. He was still hoping to reach Modena in the 8th place. But it was a quick game, and even so, Trento lost all the set by 3 points, 2 25-22 and 1 25-23. So yeah, I mean, most of the games that we're gonna comment about are very few technical things to underline, to put under the spot. It was just a matter of motivation, and it will be even more evident in the next round. We'll comment.
Yeah, in the 22nd round, we had another bunch of strange results because LUBE lost again, this time against Vibo, again in a tiebreak, 3-2. Piacenza Milano 3-2, but this is a very important result, and I'm going to comment a little bit later on that. Trento Ravenna 3-1, Padova Verona 3-2, Perugia Monza 0-3. Again, this match in which Perugia didn't have to play for anything about, and Modena Cisterna 3-1. Why I am underlining Piacenza Milano 3-2? Because of the fact that if Piacenza had won 3-0 or 3-1, they would have been 5th in the final ranking and not 6th, and they wouldn't need to play an additional playoff, an additional 1/8 final. So instead of that, Vibo is 5th and Piacenza are 6th, and they need to play with Padova in the 1/8 final. Let's call it in this way, this additional playoff match before the quarterfinals. So this tiebreak was very important for especially for Piacenza. And Perugia Monza, I don't think we need to comment a lot about this surprise, because it's not a surprise. It's just like the match between Milano and Trento, and Perugia played without Leon, without Plotnitsky, without Colaci, without Sole. So this was a very important match for Monza, and they ended 4th, which is a big surprise and a big success for them, but not a big surprise in terms of what Perugia did.
Yeah, they rested basically the entire team, thinking about the incoming games in the Champions League, and so did LUBE against Vibo Valencia, because LUBE was leading 2-0 with just half of the starting players. And then starting from the third set, they basically send in the bus driver and the water boy playing for them. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful towards those players or towards Weibo that play its game and deservedly get the points. But the game, to me, ended at the end of the second set. And Weibo, we didn't mention it before, the previous game lost to Cisterna, just to give you an insight of what could have been that game. And both the behavior from LUBE and Perugia sparkle a lot of controversial here in Italy, whether they have been unsportsmanlike, using their reserves, rather the substitutes rather than the starting lineups. Personally, I think that it could sound not so good, but they have to look to their own interests. And their own interest was preparing at their best to play in the Champions League. So don't risk to get some player injuries. Personally, I was watching and covering Trento Ravenna, which ended 3-3. And once again, Lorenzetti started the starting lineups, the usual starting lineups. And in the middle of the third set, Giannelli tried to defend the ball. It fell awkwardly on his ankle and stay down for 10 seconds. And I thought, oh, here we go. We're playing a useless game with our starting setters. Now he gets injured. And Lorenzetti had to call a timeout just to evaluate Giannelli's situation. It was nothing seriously, luckily, but that was it. I mean, most of those games were just to end the season.
Yeah, I will. I will comment on the fact that the Georgie unspeakable use after winning the first two sets, the variant of sending players that hasn't been playing well. I think the second setter of LUBE Civitanova, if he plays, I mean, two entitled sets, that's too much. I mean, in all these years of me watching Italian league, I think for the first time, and I say this because I watched it when this American setter of Perugia, I think he played more than this Italian one in Civitanova. What was the name of the setter of the American setter that has now changed to opposite? I think
Jim Shaw.
exactly Henshaw. The guy was sorry. He is like Nimir, like 2 meters and something, and he understand that if he wanted to have a good professional career in Europe, he needed to change to another position that requires more of his size. So yeah, speaking of that, well, the Georgie sent to the bench Joan De Leal, that has to come back in the fifth set when the all damage was already done. Marlon Jan ended the game with a little minor injury. He is okay, but he was struggling out there, especially after the third set when all the seniors were benched, and yeah, the the numbers of Camille wasn't too something to impress either. Finally they got a defeat, the second one versus this team of Bio Valencia in this season, which is something curious to talk about. They never win versus Vivo this season, but it's something that doesn't matter really now because now they will have to face Trentino no matter what after the defeat of the versus Perugia, sorry. And yeah, like Nicola said, this is a team that will have to choose right now what battles to pick or what fights to pick, because they are almost the entire team of Civitanova, sorry, is almost above 30 years old, and they are veterans players, so they will not play smoothly all the season. You have to expect that from teams like Trento, who the stars are in their 20s. But this team of Civitanova, they will choose to pick you a fight in a semifinals, for example, or quarterfinals when there are much on the line. And now, like this game, we ended up poorly in a losing 2-3 versus a Viva Valentia team that will have to face some. Uh, I think they will meet in semis. I'm wrong. Sorry, I was watching the schedule. Well, anyways, yeah, it's a lose. Nothing to comment too much on it. So sorry about my English. I'm now looking other teams, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Two further matches were postponed and played after the 22nd round. Ravenna against Milano 1-3 and Monza Verona 3-0, which for me was a pretty interesting match, especially in the second and the third set. And this was the match that sent Monza to be fourth in the regular season and to play directly into the quarter finals. For this match, I would say two things. Firstly, about Monza, that I like the way they play. They play very simple, very well organized, with Santiago Orduna making a very good impression, at least for me. And not to talk, of course, about Adis Lagunja, because he shows all season that he has a lot of potential in him. But also about Verona, and typically here in our podcast, talking about Verona, we talk about Matej Kaziski, we talk about Yeshke, we talk about Stoichev, or more recently Jensen. But this time I would like to say some words about the youngster from Verona, Giulio Magalini, because I believe for the very first time he took a bit more his possibility to play. He played around 2 sets and a half, and he showed a lot of quality for me. And I believe that the problem of Verona is that they have it seems that they are 4 very good outside hitters, maybe not playing in their best all the time, but very good outside hitters, with a pretty good opposite, but only one in the name of Mats Jensen. But in the other positions, they are very hesitant with all of them: the setter Spirito, the libero Bonami, and also the middle blocker. So let's go to the playoff scheme, because it's very interesting. And what we can see here is that firstly, in the 1/8 finals, Milano will play Verona, Modena will play Ravenna, and Piacenza will play Padova. Then the winner from Milano Verona will play in the quarterfinal against Perugia. Monza and Vibo will be the second quarterfinal, which is sure from now, the 4th and the 5th in the regular season. LUBE will play the winner between Modena and Ravenna, and Trento will play Piacenza or Padova. What are your predictions for the 8th final? Let's start from that. And our next podcast, I would say that it could be after the 1/8 finals. So let's start with some initial predictions for the 1/8 finals.
I think that all of those matchups are pretty easy to read. We know that in playoff, and Ronnie underlined it many times in the past, those are the games that really matters at the end of the season. But the difference between the two teams in any of these 3 games in the preliminary round are pretty big. I mean, I don't see Verona beating Milano on the three games series. Neither Ravenna with Modena or Padova with Piacenza. Milano, Modena, and Piacenza, in my opinion, will advance to the quarterfinal, and I'm pretty sure that Modena will do it in 2 games. Piacenza will do it in 2 games against Padova, who doesn't have Soji as a setter. They brought in an Austrian, I think, it was an Austrian setter that played only in the second league of Italy, or they have to line up Ferrato, the young second setter. So to me, they don't stand a chance against Piacenza. Milano Verona, maybe they could need the tiebreaker, the third game, but to me, Milano, Modena, and Piacenza.
Well, the only good thing I see in this turno preliminare, as they call it in the Liga Pallavolos's website, is that many times this will be the first that all these teams will play like for real. Let's say this is not a game who will lose on purpose to affect other team, or I will not send all my squad, all my best men to the court because I need them to be rest for other game. No, this is it. After this, I don't think they will still do it the playoff for five plays or not.
Yeah.
Well, so after this, many of these teams will have to play for the 5 plays and see if they have the chance to play at least Challenge Cup. I don't know. Well, but yeah, Allianz Milano is the favorite versus Verona, a Verona team that has been struggled all the year because of his opposite position, and also I don't think Jensen has fulfilled all the expectations, even though he is a player that we all know has been struggling with his injuries along the season. Leoshus Modena, even with that pathetic performance in the Champions League, I think they will not have any problems to beat Consa Ravenna. That Consa Ravenna is the highest team. Let's put it in this way: it's the team that at least they got a set in every match. Is the team with more high percentage of losing 3-1 than 3-0. So even though they are young, they always fight to scratch a point. We also in the last match versus Milan, they won a set, something that Verona wasn't capable to do. So and for the last one, Piacenza will dominate Padova easily, the youngest team on the league, versus a team that has too many veterans, and of course it's a team that for next year they will come for sure more stronger. So that's it. Allianz Milano, Modena, and Piacenza, the favorites to pass to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, my predictions are pretty much the same, and I hope that Verona can play and overperform, let's say it in this way. But I also see Milano in 3 maybe, and Modena and Piacenza in 2 matches. Let's inform the spectators or the listeners that the playoffs start on 21st of February. The matches will be 2 of 3 wins, of course. And then the quarterfinals will start on the 10th of March. Let's go to the Champions League. Because,
the last thing, I don't see any of these 3 matches to be playing sorry, to be needed a third game.
Mhm.
So for me, they will end it 2-0 and go to the next team. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, let's have a podcast about that after the third or the second or the third matches. But let's see what is going to happen. Maybe there will be again some surprises because we all know what happened in this preliminary phase, but the preliminary phase of the cup in September. So we were totally wrong with the predictions back then. So let's say it in this way: maybe when the teams play for something and not for nothing, like in the last 3 rounds, maybe there will be some changes in performance. Let's call the Champions League. We a little bit had some clues about what happened there with the pathetic performance of Modena. We have from today the draw for the quarterfinals, and let's start from back to the beginning. The quarterfinals are the following: the Polish Skra Bełchatów against Zenit Kazan from Russia, LUBE Civitanova against the Polish champions Zaksa Kędzierzyn in Koźle, the surprise Berlin Recycling Volley against Trento, Modena against Perugia, the all-Italian clash here. 4 Italian clubs, 2 Polish, 1 Russian, and 1 German. But I would like to ask Nicola to explain how Modena went to those quarterfinals, because in Bulgarian we have a say that somebody is going through the ears of a needle, and that was exactly what happened with Modena yesterday evening, because it was pathetic what happened with their match, and then how they succeeded in going to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, basically, before the day started, Modena just need 1 point to go through the quarterfinal on its own. So they just need to win 2 sets against the Belgian side of Ruzla. They lost 3-0 with a display of volleyball from Modena I haven't seen in I don't know, in years maybe. We know that Modena struggled in the Superlega. We saw it at the beginning, especially of this season, but the performance against Ruzlar was something, I don't even know how to define it. I mean, Grebennikov probably played one of its worst games since he played in the Italian teams, so since I watched him. And on the other side, there was this young Desmet, an outside spiker that looked like the reincarnation of Bernardi for 3 sets. It was unstoppable. But still, Modena had a chance to go through if Kemerovo, who was already eliminated, would have won versus Verva Warsaw. And they did it 3-2. Warsaw was pretty unlucky because they lost the name of the opposite, Kovlev, Bartosz Kovlev, at the end of the 4th set, so they have to play the decisive tiebreaker without him, but they just need to score 9 points in the tiebreaker to go through. The tiebreak ended 15-5 for Kemerovo, which basically eliminated Warsaw. And Modena and the Polish side had the same matches won, the same set won and lost. So they have to look at the match points quotient, match point ratio, and the Modena win it for 7. It was 105.9 for Modena and 105.3 for Varsavia. Basically 4 points. 4 points in 6 games was the difference between being in the quarterfinal and being eliminated. Never seen something like that in my life, and probably would never see it again.
Yeah. absolute drama. And the other drama I would say is about Berlin playing in the quarterfinals. Okay, let's say it's a fact that Berlin has and even has decent team through the years, but the fact is that two of their matches weren't even played in the Champions League because the second favorite in the group after Zenit Kazan, or maybe even with Zenit Kazan, Jastrzębski Węgiel from Poland didn't even participate due to COVID restrictions. So Berlin needed just to win two matches against Ljubljana, I believe, the Slovenian team, and this was actually enough for them to play in the quarterfinals, which is also very interesting. The matches, the quarterfinals in the Champions League, we will play it on 23rd of February and 2nd of March. And I'm asking for your predictions for these quarterfinals. Skra Zenit, LUBE Zaksa, Berlin Trento, Modena Perugia, and if we're going to have three Italian clubs in the semis.
Well, like you eloquently put it out, the Italian domination is amazing in the past. I mean, 3-4 years since Kazan is not that longer super team anymore. So I don't think, with all due respect of the Polish fans, that Poland's team will have the chance to participate in the semis. Well, of course, for me, the most close match that I see here is that PGA Skra Belhato versus Zenit Kazan. Even though Zenit Kazan has the means to overcome this match, they also have shown the world that is not the Zenit Kazan that we used to know in the last 3-5 years when Gustavo was playing there. So we have also a match between the champions of Poland and Italy, but of course, being champion in Italy has more strength than in Poland. So I don't think Civitanova will they could have lose a set, but again, I don't think so. And the Berlin Recycled Volley, as you guys told me about, that this is the Steve Bradbury. If you guys don't know what it is, search in Google and you will see. So 3-0 in the two matches. They are. I don't think even the players of Berlin know what are they doing in this space. I mean, the objective was only to get there and play. I was expecting, like you say, a Jastrzębski Węgiel or another Russian team, and this is a serious thing in this season. All the Russian teams have been disappointing to me, especially the Kemerovo, who has been the most disappointing team in this Champions League. When you have a team with players like, Peter Krasmanovic, Igor Kopsar, who is the setter that has been giving this new Russian generation the titles in the BNL. You have former Olympic champion Alexei Omochaev, and of course the Tsar Ivan Saisev. When you have a team, it's not a super team, but it's decent, which is a four place in Russia, I believe, losing versus a team like Roslare or the 8th place team in Italy. It's something to comment about, So very disappointed. Of course, the Italian derby, Leucius Modena versus Sicoma Morini Perugia. It's pretty obvious that for me the semifinals will be Zenit Kazan Cucino Luis Civitanova and Itas Trentino Volley versus Sicoma Morini Perugia in the other semifinals.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Ronnie. I think that the four teams you've mentioned would probably go through the semifinals. And the best matchup to look for is Bechetov Kazan. Modena Perugia, reading from the fans here in Italy, it's like they have a slightly hope for the fans from Modena to go through, mostly because the way they qualify in the quarterfinal, they say something like, why not? I mean, we get there with some help from above, and maybe we can go past Perugia. But jokes aside, I think that Kazan, Lube, Trento, and Perugia will be in the semifinal, and it's very likely that we'll have another Coppa Italia final like Lube Perugia.
And like I said in our preliminary conversations, Lube Perugia for the 138th time this year, because we had them 2 times in the regular season, 2 times in the Champions League, 1 time for the Super Cup, 1 time for the Cup, and that was 6 times until now. So and we can have it also in the Champions League, plus 5 matches in a let's say possible final. So 12 matches in 1 season. Yeah. Okay. My predictions. Skra Zenit. Firstly, I would like to say that Skra isn't even the 2nd best team after Zaksa in Poland. In the Polish Championship, they are 6th. 6th, and Warszawa, Werwer Warsaw, the team which wasn't able to win against Kuzbas or even to win 9 points in the tiebreak, and they're 4th. So I would say that Zenit should win this match, but also Zenit isn't in their best shape, even though with Bednorish and Gapet like outside hitters better than last season, I would say, but I would say that Zenit should win it, and the other 3 matches are for the Italian teams. I would say that it's possible for Zaksa to get one of the matches to a tiebreak. Very well-organized team. Until very recently, they didn't have even a single defeat in the Polish league. They had 19 matches won in a row. But of course, this is the Polish league and not the Italian league, so Lube should win. I don't think I need to comment on Trento and Berlin, and Modena Perugia should be also a win for Perugia. Let's mention also the quarterfinals in the women's section in the Champions League, and there we have also 4 teams from Italy, so total Italian domination, both men and women. And so one of the matches is an Italian clash, but firstly, Fenerbahce against Novara. Secondly, the Italian battle, Scandici against Imoco Conegliano. Kemik Police against Vakıf Bank, and another Turkish-Italian match between Busto Arsizio with the eternal Francesca Piccinini against Eczacıbaşı, the team with the complicated name. We haven't talked about women's volleyball a lot, or even at all until now in our podcast, but let's give some initial ideas what could happen here. I would say that Conegliano and Vakıf Bank for sure in the semis. Probably I wouldn't say that there is a total favorite in Fenerbahce and Novara, because both teams are very good, and the coach of Fenerbahce, Zoran Terzic, who is also the head coach of the Serbian national team women, was a guest in First Tempo, our podcast in our Volleyball Explained channel. And Busto Arsizio against Eczacıbaşı, this is also a match I wouldn't say that it's very easy to predict.
Well, for me, sorry, Nicola, if I go first, you know what it is. For me, The most interesting matches of these four is, of course, Fenerbahce versus Igor Gorgonzola Novara. Because, I mean, Novara is not that force that won 2 years ago the Champions League. They don't have Gonu anymore. So it's a it's a doable thing for Fenerbahce to win that match. But again, the Italian teams are so technical, are so well prepared that I don't think Fenerbahce, even with Melissa Vargas playing at his top, Brankica or Kelsey Robinson, will do some damage to this team. Maybe they can force a tiebreaker, but that's it. And of course, in the second semifinal, sorry for Yamamai, but you have a stronger contender. For me, one of the best team assembled in this in the last 5 years. When you have to talk about women volleyball, Paola Egonu, which for me will be a player that will transcend in the history of the game as one of the best. I also dare to compare her with Mireia Luis, and he's more taller than Mireia. So yeah, if she can win at least one gold medal in the Olympics, he will be for sure a Hall of Famer. So yeah, this Conegliano team with Sila, Mackenzie. Too much for this Yamai Busto Arcisio team. And of course, the intruder, Chemic Police, with Wilma Salas, who have who has a really hard task versus Vakif Bank, the other Turkish team, and the one that I consider that will meet Conegliano in the final, because of the players. With Magda Ovjanovic playing at a high level, and Gabriela Guimarães from Brazil, and all these stars around her. So yeah, Pakistan will for sure be in the semifinals. And the last match, if I recall one, was Sachibasi versus
Busto Arcisio.
Busto Arcisio.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, I misplaced Busto Arcisio.
Yeah, with Skandic.
Okay, sorry, but either way, Conegliano will win. And yes, Busto Arcisio versus Sachibasi. Sachibasi have been with some problems in the recent matches in the Vestel Venus League, Turkish League. So we will have to wait what is the condition of Tika Boskovic and the others partners in crime. But it should be a 2-0. I mean, 3-1, 3-0, I don't know. But if they reach a tie break, we will have to see what is the result in the first match and then wait. One thing I don't like in these quarterfinals is the fact that there will be 2 legs. And this let's pray that anything will got the COVID-19, because you will know what happened if only one player got it. So it will be disastrous for any organization. Even exists the possibility of 2 teams with COVID-19, and what do you do now with 2 teams facing each other with COVID? That's a question that has come into my mind since the drawing of lots take place. But yeah, anyway, these are my picks, and I don't know, Nicola.
I don't know a lot about women's volleyball, so I mean,
don't worry, me either.
Especially the foreign teams. So looking what we have here in Italy, I mean, Conegliano has won the past 50 games they've played, so I think that they're clear favorite on the upper side of the bracket. And for what I could read on the forums and the other sides, I think that there should be a Conegliano Vakif Bank final.
Yes.
That's all I know. So I will trust you guys.
Okay. I believe that was pretty much enough for this time. We had the regular season Italy in our pockets. We have also the quarterfinals in the Champions League. So let's see what is going to happen. And either after the second round, the preliminary round in the playoffs, or after the quarterfinals in the Champions League, we're going to have our next podcast. I'm talking bullshits now. To have the next podcast about the Italian League, plus the Champions League, plus anything else interesting happened in the world of international and not only international volleyball. Thank you again for listening. Thank you again for watching, or whatever you're doing in our channel, in our pages, in Twitter, in Facebook, and whatever and wherever you can find us. Thank you again. Thanks also to Ronnie and Nicole for joining me in this edition of the podcast, and be healthy. Bye-bye.